Picture this, your team has a ton of success, winning championships, a strong fan base, a community that's totally behind them and loves them. As the years go by, that team gets sold to some investors who aren't local and don't really care too much for your team. They just see it as an investment. The years go on, the team doesn't do too well anymore, the fans lose interest, you lose supporters, and then it's just a shell of what it used to be. And then out of nowhere, your prayers go answered, a new ownership group comes in and just completely revitalizes your club. No, this isn't Wrexham AFC, this is the story of MLS side Houston Dynamo, and a story that's been told too many times across the world when it comes to local clubs, their fan bases, and investors who just see them as property and not what the club means to the community. So follow me as we continue our away day series here at Red Card Lucha. Let's head out to H-Town, Houston, Texas.
I was wondering where they were.
Don't ruin it. So before we go any further into this video, let me just give you a few hacks when it goes to going to a Houston Dynamo game. First off, they sell all their tickets on StubHub. It's not very hard to get tickets. Now, if you're going to a Houston Dynamo game, your best bet is to wait right before kickoff and buy the tickets via StubHub. What happens is season ticket holders put their tickets on StubHub to resell, and a lot of times they're willing to settle at below face value. So just wait till right before kickoff, go online on the app, buy your tickets via StubHub, and then just show your ticket at the door with your phone. One thing I love about the Dynamo Stadium is just its location. It's in downtown Houston, East Downtown. There's a ton to do pregame and postgame, as you'll see right now. There's bars surrounding the stadium. There's things to do after the match. There's a ton of pregame options. There's a ton of postgame options, and there's a ton of food for you to eat. Houston has an amazing culinary scene, but honestly, you don't want to miss the food that's inside of the stadium.
I feel like they still play that kind of music, but just like right back there.
It's always important for an investor to realize this club is just so much more than a business investment. This isn't their club, it's the city's club, it's the community's club. And one thing I really appreciate about our new ownership group led by Ted Siegel, he realizes that, he knows that. One addition he brought this year to the stadium is completely revamping the concessions that we have inside the stadium. Award-winning chefs, as well as local hotspots around the city that people are familiar with, that they love, and they're all available inside the stadium during the game. When I tell you I broke my diet, I broke my diet. So first off, we tried a banh mi, which is a Vietnamese sandwich from Roosters, followed up by a burger from Trill Burgers, which is led by Houston rap legend Bun B. Both were amazing, both were incredible. You're gonna see them both right now in a few seconds. That just goes to show this new ownership group really understands the community and understands what's important to the Houston Dynamo fan. And it's also bringing in new fans. The people who sat behind me were only there to try out the new concessions. I ran into so many people that were going into their first ever Houston Dynamo match because of all the changes that were happening inside of the stadium. So kudos to you, Ted Siegel, this new ownership group. You're starting off right. You're doing all the right things. Let's get back to the video. So as always, we like to give you an idea of what the prices look like. For the bowl or the banh mi, you're looking at about $13 to $15. And for the beers, if you want to get a Bud Light, it's about $10 all the way up to $14 if you want the souvenir glass as well. The prices were pretty consistent throughout the stadium, so no matter where you're going to get your food, you're looking at about that much for the beer. But come on, Vietnamese coffee or Thai tea at a soccer stadium? I love you, Houston Dynamo. And since we are professionals here at Red Card Lucha, we do not talk with our mouths full, but I will say this banh mi was delicious, just as good as any Vietnamese place I've ever had. The bread was crunchy, the ingredients were fresh, the vegetables were fresh and crispy, and the meat, the pork was tender and juicy. If you told me this was at a soccer stadium, I'd call you crazy. This was delicious. So if you're at a Houston Dynamo game, I highly recommend the banh mi at Roostars. So as you saw, there's a long line to get in, and I didn't want to get in anyone's way trying to get these shots. So I took a quick shot of these kits they used. These kits were just for today. It was World Earth Day, and they're made out of renewable plastics. Typically, the Houston Dynamo have an orange kit or a black kit. Just wanted to show some of the other merch they had. Plenty of merch for both the men's team and the women's Houston Dash team. Let's get back to the stadium.
Come straight about the black barrio. Makes a meal about for sorry. Now sit back and beat my scenario. Oops, my bad, that's my scenario.
Oh, they started leaving him.
You know that feeling you get when something just tastes so good, you can't help but just sit there and smile because you're just so happy?
It's chill. It's good.
1 out of 10.
Solid 8. I would go out of my way to get this. I would say that. I would go to a restaurant. I would go to a restaurant if it had it. 8 out of 10.
Okay.
And I wanted to show this to any foreign fans. While the concessions are much more expensive than I'd like, it is very convenient to get your drinks, your food. It literally comes to you. And this will be the last tip. I swear this is a soccer channel, not a food channel, but make sure after the game you head to Yo-Yo's Hot Dogs right outside of 8th Wonder Brewery. The hot dogs are amazing, they're worth the wait, and it's just a great nightcap, especially after a win. We made it to the end of this video, and while the main point was to give you an idea of how much you're going to spend and help you navigate your way to getting into a Houston Dynamo game, I think there's a bigger picture to see. With all the success we've seen with the Welcome to Wrexham documentary and what an ownership group that really cares about the community can do just with the football club, I hope we see that story with more teams here in the United States, not just at the MLS level, but the USL level, League One, League Two, NPSL, all these small small, homegrown teams deserve some love. And when a community really gets behind it, it can do some amazing things. That's why soccer can be such an amazing sport. It's what it does to the community, not just on the field, but outside of the field. If you take anything away from this video, just go out there and support your local club. Hopefully the next time you see me inside of Shell Energy Stadium, it's going to be in a packed house during the playoffs. There's a really bright future to Houston. But everybody, it's been another episode of Red Card Lucha. Support local soccer, and I'll see you for the next one.
Hi everybody, I'm Archie Bell of the Trails of Houston, Texas. We don't only sing, but we dance just as good as we want. In Houston, we just started a new dance